the reality is that Ireland in the 50s wouldn't have been a very prosperous place, and unless orders came in from places like South Africa and Australia and New Zealand, the money simply wasn't in Ireland to sustain a business. And I mean, it had been the biggest stained glass studios in the country for a long time, but in the end it kind of went down and down. But the fact was that when it had a kind of second coming then in the 1960s under Jack and into the 70s, technology had moved on so far that at one stage 6 of us were able to produce more glass than 60 had been 50 years earlier. Because of changes in machinery and chemicals and all types of things. But no, as I say, my main speciality was again in the business end and in installing windows and repairs and that type of thing. But I went off in an engineering career instead. The two last uncles died in 2012, and having cleared out the main house towards September 2014, when I started to look at the studio, I discovered that they'd kept everything. And I mean, we were literally walking on inches deep. This is nothing. It was kind of that high of designs. Not so much cartoons, but designs and just things like this, original watercolours. Deep in the floor, I went to empty Paul's desk, and I found that there were actually 12 drawers in it, all of which were stuffed solid with designs. We went into one of the poultry houses. We pulled out 225 cartoons all rolled up. Then somebody asked me, were there more? We had people in helping us to clear the place. They kept coming to me saying there are boxes of stuff, and it was literally Indiana Jones style stuff. There was digging in, everything you'd moved, there was something more behind it. So I think in the end I counted something like another 170 cartoons and literally 5 crates, nearly over a pallet load of designs going back into the 1860s.
Well, I was certainly blown away by the fantastic quality of the watercolours first. And then, of course, of all these rolled up materials, cartoons, some of them were 18 feet long, 24 inches wide, all rolled up like kind of papyri or something. And we could take a little look at them, but we couldn't really unfold all of them in this quite higgledy-piggledy auction house. And in January, they all arrived in here, in this upper gallery, which is a huge space. And it was a brilliant space on which to unroll the cartoons. A pop-up exhibition which would allow us to curate, semi-curate the material and also show the public this enormous treasure, this kind of epic treasure, with all the responsibilities that go with it. The archive consists of order books, ledgers, watercolours, cartoons. We really have almost everything, and some letters, almost everything except the windows. And all you have to do is get into your car and go and visit the windows.
All the pictorial windows in this church are from Watson's, which is quite unusual. Most churches that you come across will have windows from a number of different companies, but this church is a complete Watson's. You'll see a lot of imported windows in churches around the country, but the Watson's, being a small Irish company, I really feel there's a character and a warmth within the windows that is lacking in some of the imported ones. I think also what's really interesting with the cartoons down in the Crawford is that you can see the different cartoon drawers, so you can see the difference in style from one cartoon drawer to another, and how that impacts on how the window was made and the different characters. And you really do have that, even though it's being made for a client and it's being made to commission, you really do have that sense of an individual craftsman, an individual artisan behind the window.